I'm joined by Dr. Evelyn Bethune, the granddaughter of Bethune-Cookman University founder Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. Later today, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, the congressional leadership, and members of the Florida congressional delegation will be unveiling a statue at the United States Capitol for your grandmother, a native Floridian.
Yes.
Dr. Bethune will be the first African American to represent a state in the National Statuary Hall in the U.S. Capitol, replacing that of a Confederate general who fought to keep her family, and her community enslaved. So I first just have to ask you, what does this historic unveiling and honor mean to you and the McLeod and Bethune families?
It is an incredible honor. We are just overjoyed at this recognition of the work that our grandmother and our ancestor did for this country. The work that she did was life-changing for many, and it definitely changed the trajectory of the country during the time period that she was alive. I mean, her work is still being talked about and utilized, and as I say, her seeds are still planting and growing fruit as students graduate, and those who came in contact with her carry forth her legacy.
You know, I have to let you know that I'm familiar with that legacy, but I dare say that many Americans might not be. I would just like, just for a moment, if you could just try to speak on what a giant your grandmother was and is for these United States and the world, really. But if you could just talk about her legacy briefly for us.
Certainly. Many times people are amazed. They know that she founded Bethune-Cookman University, and I tell them, you know, she took a garbage dump and turned it into something amazing. So there's no limit to what we can do when we have a made-up mind. She also, of course, was an advisor to 5 United States presidents and sat on what was called, under Roosevelt's administration, the Black Cabinet. She was the only female. And many of the things that she accomplished, she was the only or one of very few Black people in the room, in a decision-making position, and people listened to her, which is, during her time period, was an amazing accomplishment, not just for her as a Black woman, but as a woman in general, because, as you know, back in her lifetime, during that time period, women overall did not have a lot of rights. And so it's important for us to know that history so we don't try to roll back into what that looked like, and what she fought so hard to make sure, as a part of women's suffrage, did not continue. She was on the founding body of the United Nations. She promoted world peace. She traveled as an ambassador for the United States. And during the 2 administrations, she was the highest ranking African-American civil servant in the country. And so many times people they don't know that history. They don't know that she helped create the Women's Army Corps and made sure that women, African-American women and Black nurses were able to be utilized in the armed services. Her history is written into military history. So when you look at, you know, her accomplishments, she and Eleanor Roosevelt were friends. They were like girlfriends, you know. I call them a tag team because the things they accomplished together changed the very nature of American government. And so these are the things that earned her a spot in Statuary Hall.
Absolutely. Some might say an overdue spot in Statuary
absolutely.
Hall. So she was your grandmother, though, and
yes.
You know, I can't do the math on it. It seems like you are far too young to have any memories.
Well,
but do you have any memories?
Let's just say I look better than my age.
Okay. Okay.
I am 70.
Okay.
My dad was her only son, her only child, and he was born in 1899. I was 3 years old when she passed away. So I remember her personally as a grandmother. Yes. I don't remember her as an American icon. That came about later in my life when we were going through integrating schools in Florida. And I was a part of that process. and knowing more about her helped strengthen me and my classmates as we dealt with the horrific effects of racism and trying to desegregate schools. Um, the more research I did on her as a teenager and a young adult, I was, and I am still amazed at what she was able to accomplish uh, based on the resources that were available to her.
Absolutely.
She really knew how to take a dollar and make it do something.
And what a name you carry, Dr. Bethune. You are the CEO of the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Family Legacy Foundation Incorporated. Can you tell us a little bit more about this foundation?
Our goal is to, of course, continue the legacy of my grandmother. We have, 3 generations that are working to make sure that people know who she is, and also that we help to get students into schools, help them be able to stay there. We have been mentoring students for an incredibly long time. And we have students that we look at as examples of what loving students and being consistent in their lives, how it can change their lives. We've got students that were headed to prison probably at some point who have graduated from law school, graduated from college, because someone never told them they could go to college. And so we take a lot of pride in being able to show what just taking the time. And sometimes, people throw money at a problem, but sometimes it takes more than money. It takes people who care and who want to see students succeed. And that's what we try to promote.
Absolutely. And we know that your grandmother founded the National Council of Negro Women,
Yes.
which another civil rights icon, Dr. Dorothy Height, headed for many years. And she has founded, again, what we've spoken about, Bethune-Cookman University and HBCU in Daytona Beach, Florida. These accomplishments and so many of her other stellar contributions, they're such hard acts to follow. She was such an icon in a time when African Americans have really few, if any, rights. Do you talk about this in your book? I know that you're the author of Bethune Out of Darkness into the Light of Freedom.
This is a copy of it. It is available through our foundation. And what we talk about is what anchored my grandmother. People talk about her accomplishments, but her driver was her faith. She believed that if God directed her path, that he would give her what she needed to get it done. And I would say her work proves that she, had the right idea. And her persistence, she did not take no for an answer. And she also didn't waste time trying to break down barriers that, where people didn't want her. Mm-hmm. She just, we couldn't go to the beach in Daytona. So she put a group together and bought land in New Smyrna so that African Americans could enjoy recreation on a beach without being harassed.
Right.
That was the kind of person she was. She found solution.
She made a way.
She didn't spend a lot of time with the no part.
Right. She made a way. Our time is so fleeting, but I do have to ask you, how do you like the statue? I think it's a beautiful likeness, but what do you think about it? What does the family think about it?
We have had an opportunity to view it prior to its coming to Washington, and we are very pleased. We think that it shows the focus and the things that anchored our relative. She knew that education was one of the keys to being free. And so the things that are on the covers of the books that anchor her, her regalia, and also the fact that she was a snazzy dresser. She had style.
Yeah.
She was artsy. She loved the arts. She loved music. So, sometimes people show her and she's not smiling. They think she was this very stern person. She had a personality, mm-hmm. and she enjoyed humor and she enjoyed the arts. We grew up in the midst of drama and music and the visible physical arts. And that was the things that she felt kept us human and connected us as human beings.
Right. It's just been such an honor to spend some time with you. Thank you and your family and the legacy for all that you have done. I, for one, cannot wait to see this statue of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune where it should be in Statuary Hall in the United States Capitol. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I will tell you, Nilda Comas is an incredible artist. What she did is absolutely beautiful.
Indeed. Dr. Bethune, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.